Hey everyone, it's Ivan with KP-15 out here for another gun review, and today talking about this guy right here, which is the KP-15 by KE Arms and this Ballistic Advantage Upper receiver. We'll go ahead and start with the what and a little bit of backstory. So KP-15 is a one-piece low receiver grip stock, like all in one. And originally the company, I believe is called Cuyval Arms, did some pretty cool stuff. Basically the same thing, a little bit different design. And I first learned about them over on Jerking the Trigger. Pretty cool place, my buddy Matt has. And yeah, there on that site, basically showed some pretty cool lightweight builds that he had made off of one of those one-piece low receiver stock grips. And I'm like, man, that's pretty cool. I want to try one of those. And then I couldn't. They were no longer selling them. Fast forward a number of years and KE Arms came out with the KP-15. So basically same exact concept except improving upon it. One with design elements, and then on the other side just kind of manufacturing processes, materials, everything like that, making it better and stronger. And so to that end you have, again, one piece where we have nice big like flared magwell up here, and then integrated grip, trigger guard, which is nice and large rather than like the smaller USGI ones. And then you have your stock, and with the stock I want to say length of pull is like 13 inches, like a basically USGI like A1 stock. And yeah, it's pretty cool. And they come in a couple different flavors as far as you can get it stripped if you want to put everything in yourself. You can also get it like this, which is the basically mil spec parts kit built out. And then they have a fancy version, we'll say, which has like ambi selector. I think they're drop-in like KE Arms trigger and a few other little upgrades and stuff. But overall, pretty neat, pretty affordable. And you can put basically any upper receiver on here. So by way of example, I have this one from Ballistic Advantage, 16-inch, I think medium contour barrel with a adjustable gas block. And yeah, one of the Atlas R1 rails by Aero Precision. Overall, pretty sweet package. Which brings me to how have I used this gun. I've actually shot it a lot over the last couple years. I ended up, I think, initially shooting it outside of like range sessions and stuff like that. Took it down to Thunder Ranch for a 3-day private course, shooting both carbine as well as pistol, and it did great. Basically just turnkey gun, go down and shoot it. Had zero issues with it whatsoever. I think the only malfunctions I really can think of are ones actually induced for the sake of training. And then fast forward from there, again, after shooting a bunch at Thunder Ranch, ended up actually shooting another course, a 1-day night vision course with Cuyval Dar Incorporated. And that was one cool course. Definitely learned a bunch of stuff and more opportunities to shoot this. But I was like, man, if this is gonna break, this is probably where it's gonna break. So part of that course was going through and sorting out malfunctions under night vision with carbine. And so some of the ones we were doing and setting up were like bolt override. Not pleasant malfunctions to have and pretty rough ones to clear. Like you basically end up like mortaring your gun and stuff like that. And I'm like, if this thing's gonna break, this is probably where it's gonna end up breaking. And yeah, I've actually mortared this thing a bunch. Again, setting up malfunctions and then clearing them, and it's done good. Like no issues whatsoever as far as this thing breaking or being damaged, other than just, I don't know, maybe getting chewed up a little bit by concrete and stuff like that. And then after that class, I ended up actually taking this back down to Thunder Ranch for another 3 days and shot it some more. Again, did a great job. Pretty much through most all of my shooting I've done with this too, pretty much all suppressed because if you have suppressors, why would you not shoot suppressed? It's way nicer and quieter. And it's done a great job as a suppressed host too. I will say this has the adjustable gas block by Superlative Arms, this upper receiver build from Ballistic Advantage. It's done a great job being able to basically tweak it for whatever I'm shooting. By way of example, down there at Thunder Ranch, I did have to tweak it a little bit because they shoot pretty much all frangible. And with that, it's a little bit underpowered compared to like M855 and things along those lines. So basically give it a little bit more gas, and yeah, did a bunch of shooting with it. Definitely a really fun, lightweight gun to shoot.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Of course, everyone wants to know, is it a laser beam? Will it shoot quarter MOA groups for you at your 25-yard indoor range that you shoot at? I don't know, but I ended up taking this out and basically swapped out the lowers because it was really a function of the upper. And again, it's a mil-spec trigger, not the nicest trigger compared to like Geisley or other triggers like the Radian trigger. So I actually threw it onto my Radian Model 1 lower and threw I think like 5x25 on top of this thing and shot it number of 5-shot groups at 100 yards. And with some different ammo, this is my results. Initially shooting some Winchester M855 green tip, first group coming in at 2.39 MOA. And my second group coming in at 1.99 MOA. But if we're one of those people that likes to shoot 3-shot groups, bam, 0.59 MOA. You can get lucky 3 times in a row. Next, moving on to some PPU M855. First group coming in with a flyer at 2.4 MOA. Without that flyer, dropping down to 1.0 MOA. My second group coming in at 1.69 MOA with that PPU. Then shooting some Winchester White Box 223. First group coming in at 3.3 MOA. My second group coming in at 2.9 MOA. Shooting some Tula 55 grain 223. First group coming in at 3.29 MOA. My second group coming in at 3.19 MOA. Then shooting some Federal 55 grain American Eagle. First group with a flyer coming in at 2.1 MOA. Without that flyer, 0.97 MOA. And my second group coming in at 1.67 MOA. Then shooting some Frontier Match 75 grain boat tail hollow point. First group with a flyer coming in at 1.4 MOA. Without that flyer, 0.67 MOA. Second group, again with a flyer, 1.89 MOA. Without that flyer, 0.8 MOA. Because I was sure I could get a 5-shot group with that match without a flyer. Third group coming in at 1.86 with a flyer. Without that flyer, coming in at 0.94 MOA. Without fail, every time I go and shoot groups, especially when I get to like good like match ammo, I'm like, oh, I need to really concentrate. Always pull rounds. But that's what I ended up getting out there that day with those different assorted ammo. So, is it a laser beam? Honestly, I'm sure someone with that same ammo could do better out there than I did. But I think, yeah, like with factory match ammo, yeah, you can get sub MOA like consistently with this gun if, big F, you do your part behind it. But that's what I got out there that day. Which brings me to, what are my thoughts on this whole thing as a gun, both the KP-15 lower and this Ballistic Advantage upper. I think it's cool. Like, it's a very affordable, pretty much turnkey gun at the end of the day. KP-15 lower, nice things. It's flared mag well. It's lightweight, which I definitely appreciate. Don't care for really heavy things. And it's simple. Like, here's the grip and here is the stock. You're like, Ivan, what about like the Stoner rifle grip that you have? Yeah, like I really like that. Or what about certain stocks? One versus, yeah, there's some stocks I really like too, but none of those make me a ninja. And there's something to be said for just picking up a gun and you're not modifying it, so it's what you got, and then you just go shoot it. And then you stop playing Tinker Toys with your gun and going through like 10 different grips to probably come full circle back to something to the beginning, which maybe did or did not give you any type of performance advantage, right? I mean, at the end of the day, like, hey, how far out do I need my stock? Well, what about this? Well, when it's this, you just run it like that. And surprise, it works. Actually works pretty good. And so, yeah, like it takes a lot of that out of it, which for a lot of people, I get it. I enjoy it too. I mean, rifles, AR-15s particularly, it's like an American muscle car, like always tweaking it, always trying different stuff. But if you just want like a turnkey gun that's like well thought out and it's gonna work, boom, right here, solid and definitely affordable. And then on top of that, yeah, we have this Ballistic Advantage Upper. Like it works good. I will say with that, well, a couple things. One, I want to say with these KP-15s, you're not supposed to use like braided buffer springs, and I think there's a limit to like buffer weight and stuff too, because it can beat it up. And inside here, like there's not a receiver extension, it's just hollow through here, and that spring's riding back and forth. And so with that, just riding through there. And so I think if you have like a braided spring, probably eat away at it. What have I used in here? I've actually used the, what is it? OBC, Optimized Bolt Carrier Group by Surefire. Never bothered to review it because I'm pretty sure they stopped making them. Can't even buy them anymore, but it actually does a really good job. Shot it pretty much the whole time in here and it's done awesome. And yeah, overall just simple, well thought out, well designed, lower stock combo, everything, and a great solid just workhorse of an upper. One thing worth mentioning with the KP-15 is because it is not machined out of aluminum, there are some kind of little unique nuances, which a few of which I'll go over. Largely though, pretty much across the board, like 95 plus probably % parts compatibility. Real quick, since someone will undoubtedly ask, there's actually a company called Gunskins, and they make basically wraps for rifles, things like that, to include magazines. And yeah, got some. They're kind of fun. You can do all kinds of different patterns to include custom stuff. But as mentioned, there's a few kind of nuanced things. One, basically the dimensions are a little bit different with this because you're using this like resin-filled nylon versus aluminum. So like certain places are basically thicker, making it stronger. So your hammer pin, for example, a little bit longer, things like that. And then you also have your takedown pins, which probably can't get with gloves, but if we push these things through, flip this guy over, and pull them out, they come all the way out. And they have a little ball detent right here. And the longer one goes up front, shorter one goes in the back, and they come all the way out. You can, of course, leave the front one in and break this thing down shotgun style if you're going to. But then, yeah, it comes apart. Again, lightweight, really strong. And I'd mentioned the buffer weight earlier. I want to say it's actually not like a heavy buffer that they kind of warn against, but it should at least be carbine buffer. And so carbine weight, I think like 5 point something ounces. This one right here is from the OBC, Optimized Bolt Carrier Group, as I had spoken to earlier, from Surefire. And again, a round spring. And inside there, it's largely just open. But this one being populated with the mil-spec parts. And then right here, as I mentioned, is the Surefire OBC I've been shooting in this gun. Who do I think a setup like this would be good for? Honestly, someone looking for just a simple, turnkey, good, economic, reliable rifle. On the one hand, the KP-15, get them through Brownells. For the populated one with mil-spec parts, you're looking at like 200 bucks. And when you price out, actually getting a low receiver and then a parts kit, going through probably 3 or 4 different grips, same with stocks, things like that, like, no, it's pretty economic. And then on top of that, like, just nice features too, flared magwell, things along those lines, and pretty lightweight, like the whole thing complete, I want to say like 1.7 pounds. And then, yeah, same goes for the Ballistic Advantage Upper. Price-wise, we're looking at, I think, around like 500 bucks, and then depending on muzzle device you want on there, charging handle, bolt carrier group, stuff like that. But all in, like, definitely pretty affordable and just works, which reliability is pretty much king. And as demonstrated, kind of demonstrated, I'm sure a better shooter can shoot better, but yeah, this with match ammo, you're getting sub-MOA groups. Like, if you do your part, don't have those flyers, always have flyers. But overall, I think it's a pretty solid package, especially as just, again, just turnkey, like good, functioning, reliable rifle. But if you are looking for something like this, whether it's lower, upper, both of them, whatever it may be, as I mentioned, you can find these KP-15s through Brownells, and then Ballistic Advantage sells all kinds of uppers. This one, again, being 16-inch with adjustable gas block, but they have all kinds of calibers beyond just 5.56 with its 300 blackout, 6.5 Grindle, all kinds of stuff over there. Overall, really pleased with the performance throughout, honestly, the years at this point that, yeah, been shooting this gun. But if you want to support my channel, I greatly appreciate it. Helps me go out and create more content for you. And one of the ways is supporting me directly through Patreon. Little as $1 a month, get early access to videos, some exclusive stuff, and access to Discord. So if you have questions for me, happy to answer them over there. But as always, thanks for joining us at kitbadger.com. Look forward to seeing you next time.